Welcome, everybody, to the Whole Grains Away from Home Conference. I am Cynthia Harriman, Director of Food and Nutrition Strategies for Oldways, and we are delighted to see all of you here today. We'll be starting our great lineup of speakers in just a few minutes, but first I wanted to draw your attention to a few important points to help you get the most out of your conference. You've probably already discovered the program book, which our wonderful team gave you as you registered. It has a chronological schedule in the beginning, and then it has all of our speakers' abstracts and bios, and then some wonderful background information, which is helpful to anybody, but especially if you're a media person covering this conference and you need background information. There's wonderful amounts of it right in your program book. There will not be a quiz, but we do recommend that you take a good look through the program book. Just to get yourself oriented, all of our sessions will be in this room, which is AB, Abaddon AB, and next door is where we will have all of our meals and breaks, and where we also have our sponsor tables. Our sponsor tables are manned by a wonderful group of sponsors that will help you look into how you can develop outstanding whole grain products. And let's give them all a thanks. Our project sponsor, Ardent Mills, our event sponsors, Bob's Red Mill, Barilla, and King Arthur Flour, and our benefactor sponsors, Bay State Milling, Flour Foods, Nature's Own, General Mills, In Harvest, Lundberg Family Farms, Mars, Uncle Ben's, Quaker, United Sorghum Checkoff Program, and To Your Health Sprouted Flour. Could we have a round of applause for our sponsors? And now the next most important thing after thanking the sponsors for making this possible is to turn off your cell phones, please. Mute, airplane mode, whatever works best for you. And we will let the fun begin. But before we do that, we have one special addition. Bob's Red Mill has generously donated a gift bag, which includes several cookbooks, some muesli, an apron, and last but not least, a Bob bobblehead doll. This is a real bobblehead doll. So it's a very, very special package of gifts. And we are going to do a random drawing for this gift bag on Tuesday. And if you are interested to enter to win, you need to supply Instagram photos from the conference with our hashtag, which I thought was on that screen, but there it is, WGC Chicago. And the more you gram, the more chances you have to win. So get the buzz going on social media, and maybe you will have the bobblehead doll. So next I would like to introduce Oldways President Sara Baer-Sinnott. Sara has been with Oldways for 2 decades and has been our president since 2010. Before that, she was a special projects editor at Inc. magazine. It is her passion and her dedication to good food and cultural food traditions that keep all of us at Oldways interested and keep all of us working very hard to get you all passionate about the same topic. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Sara.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. And can you ask the staff to be sure to come in? Yes, I'm Sara Baer-Sinnott, president of Oldways, and I'm happy to welcome all of you to the Oldways Whole Grains Council conference. And thank you for being here, for what you do, for making a difference in the food and nutrition world. We're glad that you're here, ready to learn, and also ready to teach. This is the 7th official conference of the Whole Grains Council since its founding in 2003. But the year before, in 2002, we had an event, an Oldways Food Choices Conference, where we had a whole day devoted to whole grains. And what made that very special and important was that the speakers and the sponsors and the experts who were there were inspired and enthusiastic and helped Oldways found this conference, found the council in 2003. And it's only been 13 years, but just to think back 13 years. The bread aisle had white bread and brown bread, but you couldn't tell if the brown bread really had whole grains in it. There was no way to tell other than a real reading of the nutrition label. The grain aisle was a lot smaller in size and variety. Almost no one had heard of quinoa, and if they did, they might have been calling it quinoa. Sorghum was thought of something for animals and maybe related to molasses. Farro, teff, and bulgur were foreign foods, something that people really didn't cook or know about. And the words whole grains and cardboard were often mentioned in the same sentence. What a difference 13 years has made. We started with 7 members in 2003 in July. We met in a hotel conference room during IFT. And the cheese plate that we ordered during our meeting with the 7 of us came with all white crackers. We knew that we had a lot of work to do. Today we have 408 members. We created the whole grain stamp in 2005, and it's now used on more than 12,000 products in 55 countries. With you, we've participated in thousands of media stories about whole grains, and more often than not, this includes the whole grain stamp. With you, we've created educational campaigns like Whole Grain Sampling Day, the last Wednesday in March, or Whole Grains Month, September, to promote whole grains. And with you, we've partnered with healthcare organizations around the world to promote an increased consumption of whole grains. But the same thing there hasn't been as big a rise in whole grains. In food service, the momentum is slower. A decade ago, we asked restaurants why they weren't serving whole grains, and they said, well, no one really asked for them. And so we asked diners why they didn't ask for them, and they said, well, they don't usually have them. So in 2007, we created our first food service campaign, which was Just Ask for Whole Grains, and we had a conference named after Just Ask for Whole Grains. We have buttons and stickers that we give thousands away to schools and hospitals, to anyone who asks for them, to just ask for whole grains. Change doesn't happen overnight, but the pace is picking up with food service, and that's why we're here, and that's what this conference is all about. The big picture of the conference will document changes affecting millions of kids in schools and adults in universities, hospitals, and workplace cafeterias. We'll highlight the vision of a new breed of chain restaurants dedicated to making fast food healthier, and talk about how this approach can benefit restaurants' bottom line. We'll share data showing important trends in menu options and consumer attitudes. We'll give you food for thought about how to market whole grains with a flavor-forward approach, one that might not even touch on health. And of course, since tasting is believing, our cadre of experienced whole grain chefs will show you how to make delicious whole grain dishes, which you'll be able to enjoy as part of our meals and receptions. And now, before we start the conference, I want to introduce and thank the Oldways Whole Grains Council staff. You've met Cynthia Harriman, but Cynthia is more than just the Food and Nutrition Strategies Director. She's really been the main driving force of the success of the Whole Grains Council, which we thank you very much for. Next, Kelly, are you here, Kelly? Kelly Toops is the Whole Grains Council Program Director. She's also the Oldways RD. She's a master of many things, including the fact that she put this program together. Caroline is probably not here, but so I'll go to Ashley Owen. I see Ashley is our very creative and fun-loving media and PR manager. And Caroline Slider will be coming in. She's brand new to Oldways, just 1 month ago, and she's the Whole Grains Council Stamp Program Manager. So thank you to all of you. A hand, thank you so much. We want to make sure that you recognize them, and if you have questions of any of us here or when you leave, please be in touch with us. And again, many thanks to our sponsors, and let's get on with the show.